What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. It is me, of course, the crypto enthusiast, Liger here once again, and today we're going to be talking about Nano. More precisely, Nano Game Faucets. And game faucets in general are becoming more and more popular because people are figuring out that the normal faucets are not a very fun way to earn crypto. It's very grindy and tedious to fill in the captcha every 5 minutes, and then you're going to be seeing some bullshit ads and pop-ups on your browser. That's not a very fun experience, and nobody wants to do that the whole day, okay? And that's why there has been evolution on different ways how you can earn crypto, whether it's through Tube through the airtime extension, or Steam through Steemit and DTube. And there are so many different projects where you can earn crypto in different ways. And game faucets are part of that evolution. And yes, we had things like crypto kittens and all of these Steemit monsters and so on. The problem with those is it requires you to have a buy-in. So you have to invest in that project to get a collectible, and then you can sell it maybe on a higher return afterwards, which is the fundamental problem here. Game faucets don't require any initial investment through that crypto. And I've been saying this, that the best two ways to go for mass adoption for any currency, token, or coin is through an app that everybody uses, which is not necessarily crypto related, or through a game. And we can see these developments through a Sobi coin, which is like putting the idea that I've been having, which is creating essentially like a dungeon crawler game or MMO, where all the items can be sold in an auction house, and through that auction house, essentially all the transactions are done under blockchain, which would essentially, you can grind an MMO game or dungeon crawler, and you could sell these items and get crypto for your time, and while enjoying the gameplay experience. And I think that is the future. There just hasn't been a game yet that has, that caliber of, budget and everything involved in it. And obviously there are now like Nano and Tron, and I think Neo is also involved of creating like a games division now, and games that are running through these cryptocurrencies. And I want to talk about Nano specifically today, and two projects that I've found that are kind of interesting. And there are probably a lot of other these Nano games coming up, and it seems that Nano is a perfect also platform for this, because there are no transaction costs, which means that faucets are generally easier to do and cheaper to do. Because if you want to create a faucet game, or faucets in general, you don't want to spend too much on currency on transactions, because you may have a model that revolves around having a lot of users or a couple of whales. It can be either or. But if you're going to have a lot of users, it's going to mean that essentially you need, send a lot of money. And first game I'm going to look is this PlayersKillExchange, which is sort of a 2D game reminiscing of kind of like a Zelda type of a style. And you get sent into this dungeon with pretty much a one potion and one spear. And there's a lot of lizards and urks inside this dungeon which you need to kill, and once you have killed 33 NPCs you can cash out, or you can kill 3 players and cash out. And this cash out is done through Nano, and it's not the most fastest way to grind Nano, to be honest, but it's very fun because there's a chance that if you die you will lose, and the monetization model revolves around that you can buy extra lives, so you don't lose your items and gear. And essentially it's kind of like Dark Souls in the sense that it's a roguelike open world where there's these different dungeon rooms, and you can meet a player there or an NPC. And there's cool thing about there are potions which turn you to look like an Urk or a lizard, which make you maybe cheat the player a bit, on the appearance. But you can always tell from the movements, and also on the big screen on the corner will say you a player nearby. And this is a very fun game. So as I said, if you die, you lose all your Nano. And this happened to me once already, which was kind of sad. But I didn't play more than 20 minutes. And it's very basic type of a game. There's actually quite a layers in it. There are bigger dungeons and higher dungeons where there are more powerful enemies, and you have to gear up. There's always loot from enemies, potions, crafting materials to improve the items and the weapons. And there's also armor drops, and you can use bow, which brings out a whole new dynamic to the game, and then you have the melee weapons. And once you get good at the game, you can just kite around the map with the bow and kill them one by one, as long as that routes are safe to do and you don't pack up like 7 or 8 enemies, which is really, really hard to kill, by the way. And it's a very nice way to actually get nano, and there's kind of like a PvP element. It could be more vaster experience altogether. I think it's like there's a lot of really, really, really bad crypto-based games, as I talked about earlier about the collectible games, which don't have any actions or any frames. It's just like, you know, turn-based bullshit and stuff like that. This is actually somewhat funny to play. It's not the most perfect game. It has sounds, but it doesn't have any music on it. And it's kind of grindy, obviously, but it's still fun to do this rather than like spam on the faucets the whole day. And obviously there's a higher like reward if there's more players playing the game. And as long as you get more better items, you can kill the enemies faster, and this will obviously increase the amount, how much nano you're getting per second, so to speak. I don't know how much is the damage of the highest item, because I will always cash it out early. I don't want to risk it, because when you get into the castle stages, it actually gets a bit more harder to move further, and it gets a bit harder actually. And other projects that I'm very excited about is actually Nano Quake, which has been actually in work for some months now. And this was actually the first game faucet that I learned about. And the Nano Quake might be actually very, very successful. It's a classic game, and essentially you get paid for kills. I don't know if you're going to be losing all your nano when you die. How does it exactly work? Because you have to code it a bit differently from PlayersKillExchange, essentially. And this could be one of those games which will become very, very big, potentially, and very interesting faucet to play. And because it's a classic game, and there might be people wanting to swap from normal Quake to this game to earn some nano. Obviously, don't become a millionaire by grinding these games, but unless nano price just jacks up like 1,000 or something. But, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see like these projects evolve, and sooner or later we're gonna have a game which have a currency under nano, where it's like a full-on economy, like the items and everything you sell are through nano, and you can invest money in the game, and it's not like this sort of a death match or like a faucet. It's like a real game that operates. It's like a native currency through a crypto, which, you know, the problem with big games like World of Warcraft and Diablo is that there's always an inflation in price, and that always happens because it's game money. It doesn't have like a real price, you know. Maybe there's black market price, but I think games like World of Warcraft or Diablo would really much benefit from installing a cryptocurrency on their model, or Path of Exile for that matter, and that could make things very, very interesting. And I'm really waiting for that game. It is not maybe coming out this year or the next year, but there are some interesting crypto-based games coming out. Most of them are just shit though, and some of these faucet games are though decent, and I think that Nano and Tron are probably going to be, you know, number ones, you know, in this game development thing, because you kind of need a centralized aspect to fund these projects to get them rolling, and maybe give them some like base value of money. I don't know where Nano Quake gets its own money though. I don't know the monetization model, so they might run out of money at some point though. But I'm not gonna blabble any longer on this review. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more content across DTube, BitTube, YouTube, Library, and Flixo. There's also my content these days. Not actually in Flixo, sorry about that. And I will see you guys next time. Cheers.